Are we clapping or are we high-fiving?
High-fiving.
Because right now we're sitting crisscross applesauce facing each other like we're about to do some patty cake. And we're not filming it, so nobody knows what we're doing. Clap, clap.
They can hear it. This is ASMR.
What's your song?
Miss Susie had a boyfriend. What is it?
Susie had a steamboat. Right?
Oh, there was a boyfriend, and then he taught her how to undo her bra.
Yeah. And then, did you ever do this one?
Uh-huh.
Bobo, ski, wat, and totten, boom, boom, boom. And then we did eeny, meeny, wat, and totten, bobo, ski, wat, and totten, bobo, ski, wat, and totten.
Did you ever do?
Boom and zoom.
We didn't do that way. Oh my God.
Well, it's something that happens, you know, lawyer versus lawyer.
Regional slap games.
Regional slap games. Let's clap, though. 1, 2, 3. It was a high five. Ow.
Hi, I'm Maggie.
And I'm Amanda.
And we're sisters.
In law.
We're watching Suits one episode at a time.
It's a show so nice, I've watched it twice.
And a show so great, I'm watching it late.
Thanks so much for tuning in.
Maggie's never seen it and Amanda's obsessed. They don't wear fancy suits, they are casually dressed. They are sisters-in-law and they got a show about a law firm drama that aired a few years ago. Only Suits fans, only Suits fans. Only Suits fans, only Suits fans.
Yeah.
Only Suits fans, only Suits fans.
This is season 3, episode 5, Shadow of a Doubt.
We're going to try something new where we keep our briefs extra brief.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to just do a brief for this one.
Okay. You can do the briefs all week if you want.
Okay. I'll do the briefs for this week.
And I'll do them next week.
Fabulous. Because sometimes I'm not good at the briefs.
Sometimes they end up, when that's not true, you're great at the briefs, but sometimes instead of them being briefs, they end up being longs.
It's true. They're like long johns.
They're like long johns. And you know what? We're coming into the summer months.
And we got to keep them brief.
Yeah, let's keep them brief.
Get some air on those thighs.
So, yeah.
Okay, here's my brief.
Yeah, get it.
Meowsers. This episode is a fancy feast of backdoor deals and secrets. Rachel is worried her daddy is going to find out about Mike's little dirty secret if not going to law school. But turns out her secret application to Stanford is what gets revealed. Donna is upfront with Harvey about Steven getting all up in her front butt, and Harvey plays it a little too cool to sell that he isn't bothered by it in the least. Steven and Harvey pair up only for Steven to go behind Harvey's back and mess some things up, which is exactly what Harvey did to Jessica when he went behind her back and lost her more clients in one day than he's ever brought in. Unlike Rachel's family, who don't keep anything from each other, our favorite law firm is full of secrets.
The way you just breezed over front butt.
Thank you.
It's one of my favorite terms.
Yes.
Is a front butt.
Mm-hmm. Also, I want to acknowledge the credit for Rachel's daddy is you, of course.
Thank you.
But I couldn't even remember that his name was Robert Zane because every time he came on the scene, I'd be like, there's her daddy. I love that man. You want to get into the show?
Mm-hmm. We had 4 storylines in this one.
Very nice, fun ones, too. Kept it quick.
You took exceptional notes. I started to watch this, if you noticed, last night around 11:30, and I didn't actually add too much to it, but you took really great notes, and it was easy to jump around and see it.
This whole episode opens with Harvey on the phone with Donna,
mm-hmm.
and he's like, I'm not the one who disappeared, and she's like, it's a lunch hour. I'm taking my lunch hour. I'm at the dentist.
So it's not her normal dentist cleaning her teeth. It's Stephen Huntley licking on those
dental dams.
Whites. Those dental dams. Damn. We got a front butt and a dental dam within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, she is with Steven, and they're boning.
They are boning.
They're naked.
Yeah.
Steven looks pretty tired, honestly. I didn't notice how tired he looked, but
He always looks a little tired. Like, that's his look, is sexy tired.
Yeah, he's got some sexy tired eyes. He looks more tired in this light, though.
Yeah.
They've been working hard.
Yes.
Oh, also, Harvey's like, you disappeared, but Donna's like, everything is prepared.
Yeah.
She's done everything he needs. She's
anticipated. She already
everything.
donned it. And did you notice Steven kind of snuck in a little question, like, what was he talking about? Which was interesting.
Right. He wants to know.
He wants to know.
So then Donna and Rachel are talking about, like, why hasn't she told Harvey about Steven? And they're talking and they're having, like, this interesting conversation about all the sex she's having, and yay.
Rachel says, you can't hide it from me, but men are oblivious. Or Donna says that. Men are oblivious. They're not going to notice.
And Lewis walks in and he's like, what are you doing? You are glowing.
Yes.
You are stunning. What'd she say she's doing? Like,
She had some
Yoga.
new tea and some yoga.
yeah. And he's like, oh, for that glow, I'd tea. Morning, noon, and night, 5 times a day if necessary, is what he says.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you look good, girl.
Yeah, keep doing that.
Keep doing it.
How complimentary. That's really nice of Lewis.
It is nice.
And he is someone that would notice that.
Yeah,
You know?
he's vain.
He's vain.
Yeah, they're all vain.
They're all vain. And also Lewis is one of those people, he's like a middle schooler. Like, he knows what everyone, he's like, you wore that suit on Wednesday of last week.
Yeah,
like,
he's
he keeps
tabs.
score. Then Donna's sitting in Harvey's office. He's coming back from something. He's like, oh, make yourself at home. And she just comes out and she tells him. She's like, I'm sleeping with Steven.
And he says, I can see that.
Oh, you're not upset? That's what she says. Oh, you're not upset?
Then he says, what you're doing is personal and this isn't, as long as you don't let that affect this, because you work for me.
Yeah, he's
Kept
like,
saying that.
don't let it interfere. And she's like, okay, great. This whole exchange with Harvey and Donna feels pretty cold and like there's something not being said and almost like they know the other one is full of it. They're both too proud to say anything about it.
Yeah, it's like it bothers him, and then also she's bothered that it doesn't bother him.
But she like knows it does bother him because she knows
But he
Harvey.
won't let,
But he won't
There's
admit
like
it.
some sex tension over there. Sex tension.
Sex tension.
There's some sexual, sexual
Sexual tension.
I don't know why I can't spell it out. I think maybe because my son is here. So.
Son was
But we did say front butt.
Then this whole thing wraps up with Steven and Donna in the copy room. And Donna's actually pissed because, we'll talk about it later, but Steven brings up this relationship to Harvey. And that makes Donna mad. She's already told Harvey that it's happened, but Steven was kind of like rubbing it in his face, doing some alpha male stuff. And she's like, you've made this complicated, and I don't enjoy complication. She's basically cutting this whole thing off. But then Steven's like, oh, well, I was going to extend our term. And Donna says, I'll take it under advisement.
Such a lawyer. She's not even a lawyer.
She should be a lawyer.
Yeah.
She'd be a great one. But she has this like smirk. She has a cute look back.
Yeah.
It's like,
so we know they're going to probably,
do it again.
The next storyline is Cameron Dennis and Ava Hussington.
Yes. So Harvey, Cameron, and Mike are all with the judge who does not do laundry.
No.
And they're talking about the witnesses because Mike and Harvey are saying the witnesses aren't coming forward. And Cameron's saying just because they won't come forward doesn't mean they don't exist. And Harvey mocks Cameron Dennis's mustache.
Which, by the way, it's real pronounced.
It's a good mustache.
But it's like really
Think
pronounced.
it's bigger?
It's thick.
It's a thick mustache. Do you think it's a real mustache or a prosthetic mustache?
I don't think it's a prosthetic mustache. I think that's real hair on his upper lip.
You think he really grew it? That's impressive. That's a good mustache.
Yeah.
Cameron Dennis says, we've all been down this road. It's called Bullshit Highway.
And I want to steal that line
So
because
good.
it's so stupid
So stupid.
and cheesy, but I think I'm going to take it.
They have so much good writing in the show and so many great lines. And then every once in a while,
They'll
it's
just slide one in.
bullshit.
They're laying
highway.
it in thin is what they're doing. And
Unlike the mustache.
yeah, where they laid that in thick.
So they were having this conversation and it all came out because Harvey wanted the judge to just dismiss the entire case, and she didn't, but she did grant an expedited trial. And Mike and Harvey are walking later, and Mike's like, oh, you did that on purpose. And Harvey's like, yeah, of course she wouldn't grant an expedited trial unless I asked for something bigger first. And now they're going to have to prove that Cameron Dennis colluded with Giannopoulos for the takeover in order to get him thrown off the case, because the new person who takes on this case would never agree to an expedited trial.
No.
The only reason Cameron Dennis will do it is because he hates Harvey so much.
Yeah, he'll do it to spite him, essentially, just to get back. They're out on the street afterwards, and Mike says, we're going to turn bullshit highway into fact highway. And Harvey makes fun of him because this is actually a dumb line, and I'm not going to take that one.
Yeah, no, leave that one on the side of the road.
Ah. Like it.
Stephen is at the office to see Harvey, and Donna at this point had not told Harvey yet.
No.
But Harvey assumes his deal with Edward is done because Jessica took a shot at his own team, but actually the deal is still on.
Yeah.
Harvey has decided that he's going to sue Tony Giannopoulos for any number of things. And Stephen's like, actually, that's good, but I can do better. And so they decide to bet a $10,000 wager, but that means that Mike's off the case. So now it's going to be Stephen and Harvey working together to sue Tony Giannopoulos to prove collusion with Cameron Dennis, to get Cameron Dennis off the case, to bring a new lawyer to dismiss the charges against Ava Hessington. Very simple.
Wow. That was great, Maggie.
That's off the top of the dome.
Yeah,
that's
it is
how
off the top of the
easy
dome.
it is to understand.
So this brings me to my first depo.
Oh.
They have a $10,000 wager. If you were 98% confident in something and somebody wanted to wager you something, how much would you be willing to wager?
98% confident. And it's like a field that I've done a lot of work on. It's not like I'm 98% confident because I listened to a podcast.
No.
Okay. It's like I have personal experience confident. I think I'd wager $200.
What if you're 100% confident?
100% confident?
You absolutely knew that you were going to win, or you were correct?
$800.
$800. Okay.
Yeah. What would you wager?
If I was 98% confident, also let me say that this doesn't take into account who you're wagering against.
And that you're true. That's true. Because if I was wagering against someone who I was like, they're gonna flub the rules again, or they're gonna find a loophole, then I'd be like, I'm not taking it anyways. I know I'm right.
Yeah. It's also if you're wagering against somebody you don't like, then you really,
Yeah, and you're really confident.
Yeah, I'm gonna go big.
But if you're 98%, you don't.
98%, I'd probably be like $500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're 100% sure and you really don't like the person,
if I really like the person, I'd do $1,000 because I wouldn't feel bad taking $1,000 from them. If I was 100% confident, without a shadow of a doubt, like I was going to be able to pull up the receipts and show.
Yeah.
Receipts, proof, timeline, right? $10,000. I would do it.
10,000.
They're doing $10,000 and they don't actually know. They're just doing it to show
have
whose
fun.
dick is bigger.
Right. Exactly.
And I guess we could ask Elizabeth Hurley that if we really wanted to know.
Ooh.
It's a
dental dam.
Sick burn. Dental dam. But I would do $10,000 if I 100% knew I was going to win.
It's interesting too that you're like, oh, if I didn't like the person, I'd go bigger with it because I
wouldn't feel bad taking their money.
Yeah, but I don't even know that I would change it. I think I don't know. I think I would keep it the same always. So then they go and they see Tony Giannopoulos, Stephen, and Harvey. And Stephen is like, I'm actually going to sue you in London because there you have to prove you're innocent, not that you're not guilty.
Sneaky, sneaky international law firm.
And Tony's like, oh, you want to know how much I care about money? And then he lights a $50,000 bond on fire.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy. He's like, I'm not in business for money. I'm in it to win. Which I thought was interesting because that's very Harvey-like.
Yeah, and then he says money is just a way to keep score.
Just like Harvey.
Well, because when you get to a certain point, it doesn't actually really matter. Like there's a study that came out several years ago that said kind of like the peak amount of money you needed for a family of 4 to live comfortably and not have to worry. I mean, you're not going to be able to do everything in the world, but after a certain point, like it's the law of diminishing returns. And it was something like $675,000 a year for your household income, or $700, something like that. Now, this is before the pandemic,
right,
and before inflation, so I'm sure it's closer to $1 million now.
Yeah.
But they're like, if a family wanted to like send their kids to school, go on vacations, do all those things,
That's
not
what you
really
mean.
have to worry, but they'd still have to work, then that's it. Like anything over that, but kind of comes...
Burdensome.
Yeah, I'll let you know, though, if it becomes burdensome.
Yeah, when
one
I win
day.
the lottery, I'll let you know. That's a family of 4, too. So for like my family of 5, I probably need
need a little bit more.
$336 million.
Yeah. So, here. You forgot to mention that the truth is that Tony did collude with Cameron Dennis.
That's all it's going to cost Tony. That's what Harvey says. He's like, this isn't going to cost you any money. All you have to do is say you colluded with Cameron Dennis. And then Harvey meets with Jessica while she's sipping on some tea. She loves that little tea set. And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm free because I have lots of cancellations. Because you messed up, Harvey.
Because Tony Giannopoulos went and bought a bunch of companies and then fired Pierce and Darby.
Literally bought companies for the sole purpose of firing the firm.
Unbelievable.
That's more than $1 million. That's a big daddy money.
Well, you can light that bond on fire. That bond just got lit up.
Ava Hessington is also mad because Tony Giannopoulos, for no reason, is driving Hessington oil stock into the ground.
Well, he's dumping the stock, so that's how he's...
Right, he's dumping it for no reason. Like, why would he be doing this? No one can really figure out why he's doing it. It's just to stick it to her. And she's pissed. She's like, I'd rather rot in a cell than let that man take over my company. I would literally rather be accused of murder, is what she's saying. And found guilty of murder.
I know.
So Stephen and Harvey are like, oopsies. I don't know why Tony's overreacting. Harvey's like, why is he dumping the stock? This doesn't make any sense. Well, what happened is Stephen subpoenaed Tony's daughter.
Which is like super personal.
So personal. It took this like business matter and made it so bad.
Yeah.
He didn't even run it by Harvey. Harvey's like, now he's never going to talk about Cameron Dennis, you dum-dum. And then Steven's like, I think this is about getting personal with Donna. And Harvey's like, nah, bro.
Right.
You messed up.
Yeah.
You really screwed the pooch on this. You don't work on my case without me. You don't work on my case at all. Get out of my office.
Yep.
That's what he says.
Yep.
Death stare.
Jessica and Harvey are having a late night session, a little chat. And he comes in and he says, you were right. And she says, we've had a lot of disagreements lately, so which one are you talking about? Which is like, dang.
She's the head bitch in charge.
She is a head bitch in charge. That is a sick burn.
He's talking about Stephen.
Yeah, he's talking about Stephen. It's like, if we can come together, they can come together. Or she says, if we can come together, they can come together. So basically, he says, maybe I don't trust Stephen after all. Maybe you were right. Because he was all in on Stephen, but she doesn't actually know why he was all in on Stephen. So what she says is, Ava wants to control Hessington Oil, and Tony wants to own it. They're going to figure out a plan to make both of them happy.
Yes. And Jessica goes, she's like, I'll take care of Ava. And she goes and she relates this whole thing to how she signed with Darby. And she goes, I didn't want to lose control, and that's why I merged my company. And she goes, I wouldn't be standing here if I hadn't done that. So she's kind of making this personal. She's like, you won't be able to run your company from a cell. And Ava's like, I don't know about this. My deposition for you is in this scene. Jessica is like very prominently displaying her bag.
That big white bag.
Yes, the big white bag. Did you like this bag?
Obsessed. I wrote it in all caps. I'm obsessed. I actually, before you got here, I had a few minutes to spare. Literally, you texted me and said, I'm on my way. And it said I had 2 minutes left in this episode because I didn't finish it last night. I'm doing this because I told them I watched it last night.
Who did you tell?
The listeners.
You're acting again? So we shouldn't tell the listeners you didn't watch it last night. You watched most of it?
last night. I watched it last night, but then I just said, you showed up tonight, but that was for the second episode. And then I don't know record 2 a night.
But we're not going to do the second one tonight.
We might. I might just power through.
Okay.
Who knows? Okay. Anyways, time in. Secrets. I'm doing this only for myself when I'm editing.
So you're obsessed with this.
I'm obsessed with this bag. I tried to find it in the few minutes I had to spare. I couldn't find it. I'm not going to give up though, because I really do want to get that Gucci stirrup bag, because I told you I was working some deals. The thing is that I always buy a camel color purse. You know how much I love camel colored shoes, purses, jackets. It's my thing.
Yeah.
You know? And that's my
I always
neutral.
call you. I'm like, there's Amanda, the camel lady.
Yeah, the camel lady. But that's like, camel's my neutral. I mean, look at the comfy chairs. Like, I love camel color.
Right, your camel lady.
So I'm like, should I get...
Whiskey?
Whiskey is part camel and black. Those are my two neutrals.
Yeah.
Basically, my dog matches my aesthetic. And so, should I get that big white bag for the summer? But I gotta find out where it is.
It's huge though, too.
But
it's
you did
so
note
big.
that it could hold a small dog or a bowling ball.
It could.
I think that would be great.
I think so.
I could get one of those things.
You could do both of those things.
Yeah.
And then switch it out. I'm going bowling. I'm going
Out
somewhere with my dog.
Yeah.
The next time we see Jessica after this talk with Ava Hessington, she's getting an Asiago cheese bagel on the street, which is her reward of choice for a job well done.
Mm-hmm.
Harvey comes. He's like, oh, Asiago, it went well. They know each other's bagels.
Yes.
He gets a poppy seed, which is a good news, bad news bagel. I love this so much. Having a celebratory bagel and a good news, bad news bagel, a bad news bagel. Like this.
So what would yours be?
My good news, bad news bagels and everything bagel.
Okay.
Because it's just like a pile on, you know? My good news bagel is a sesame bagel.
Okay.
My bad news bagel, probably like a wheat bagel.
Yeah. Would you do a savory spread or schmear, or something sweet on the wheat?
On the wheat, for bad news, I'd do a sweet.
Yeah, because you needed that.
Yeah. You got to get something. Savory on everything bagel.
For sure.
Good news bagel, sesame seed could be sweet or savory.
Yeah, really, you could pick your poison.
Pick your poison. The bad news is that Cameron Dennis didn't explicitly tell Tony to watch the tape. But the good news is that Tony's going to testify that Cameron Dennis left him alone in the room with the tape, which is totally mishandling evidence.
It's the chain of command.
Yes.
So they can throw it out because it was not protected.
So Harvey takes this information that he's gotten from Tony and he goes straight to Cameron Dennis to confront him. And he's like, look at this, a sworn statement from Tony that you left him alone with the tape. Chain of custody means that tape is gone. You and I both know that. Wham, bam, peace out, Cameron Dennis. And he's like, save yourself the embarrassment and cancel the trial. Cameron Dennis is like, you don't know me at all.
Yeah.
Did I teach you nothing? And he says, we're in the ring. I'm still standing and this isn't done. Now get out of my face. I've got a trial to prepare for. He is so like scrappy about beating Harvey. This is insanity.
He is, but this is also how Harvey gets about beating other people. Like, think about how he's been with like Travis Tanner and other people. So this is kind of where Harvey learned it.
I guess.
This is a learned behavior from Cameron Dennis. Like, when they're wanting to win, and it's against an attorney, not necessarily the case, which that's got to suck for those clients when they don't realize, those guys got beef.
This isn't
right.
about
Like,
me.
I would say if I'm like gonna give a retainer over to a firm, be like, I need you to rep me, be like, who you have beef with? I need to know so I don't go get myself into trouble with beef.
Right. I need to know when you're giving me good advice versus you're giving me some beef broth.
Yeah, beef broth. Dang, gentle damn.
It's like the tea of beef.
My gosh, somebody trademark all these. We're so smart. Okay.
It is, though. I guess it's a learned behavior, but maybe they both found each other and were drawn to each other because they're both like that.
And then they just brought it out of each other.
Yeah, they bring the worst out of each other.
Yeah.
So Harvey's late in the office, and then he sees Steven, who's leaving him a note. And Steven's like, oh, you went to Jessica for help. Ironic that she doesn't realize she helped you dig her own grave. Which is true. Yeah. And I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like, Jessica just helped you. Because I kind of thought maybe Jessica knew or was like aware and was trying to put chess pieces into place. But then when he said that, I was like, oh, maybe she doesn't know.
Right.
But then I was like, maybe she does know, because the very next scene, she comes and she goes, I was thinking, like, you got me my tea set back, so I have a gesture for you. And she hands him a business card that says
Pearson
Darby
Spector.
Pearson Darby Spector.
Pearson Darby Spector. He's going to be a named partner.
He's going to be on the elevator. He's going to be on the wall.
He's going to be on the wall.
And I was like, okay, she knows. I was like, she knows then that he's coming for her.
And he says, is this a gesture or is this a move? Mm-hmm. And then she says, what it is my way of showing you that Darby is treating me the same way that I treated you. So she doesn't actually answer it. And she's like, I want us to be on the same side.
Mm-hmm. And then she leaves, and Harvey kind of looks contemplative. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say, like, maybe guilty. He just looks like he's really processing this. Like, he doesn't know what to think.
Right.
It's interesting that she's like, Darby's treating me the same way I treated you. But the difference here is that Jessica's always been a partner. Mm-hmm. And Harvey has not. Like, a named partner.
Since he's been there.
Right. So, like, Jessica treating Harvey that way, to me, is kind of like, well, that's a little different because you're kind of Darby's equal.
Right.
And so she's saying, Darby's treating me like I treated you, which is not like my equal.
Yeah,
I
don't
know.
thought about that.
I don't know. Whew.
Okay, storyline 3. Mike meets Rachel's daddy / Robert Zane. Now, they've met before.
They've met before, but they're now going to meet in a different way. So this starts when we first see Michael and Rachel. Rachel's in the break room, and Mike's talking about how Steven got him kicked off the case. And she's like, oh, doesn't he have his hands in a lot of cookie jars? And Mike's like, ooh, what's the goss? And she spills the tea that Steven is sleeping with Donna.
Right.
And Mike has a haircut. Has he had it this whole season?
No, he just got it.
Okay, it's noticeable. It looks nice.
He does look nice. He's starting to fill out and look older, like
Yes.
more mature, like not like a kid in a trench coat situation.
Yeah, he looks like Mike, not
like
Michael.
It looks like it's not an ill-fitting suit. Like he's actually maybe gone to Harvey's suit guy or something.
Right.
Yeah.
He needs to get back on the case, and so he's like, oh, Rachel, you can be the Mike to my Harvey because I'm going to work on getting this embezzlement money back. In order to do that, I need you to be my second. Rachel's like, I'm going to ask a third of the questions. And Mike's like, Harvey would never let me do that.
And then she's like, Mike doesn't sleep with Harvey. So he's like, okay, the third of the questions.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So then they're out in the rain. They're headed there. And Rachel says that she can't celebrate with Mike because she has dinner plans with her parents. But she doesn't really want Mike there. And it's very awkward because she doesn't want them to find out about his secret. And he said, nobody's going to find out. You, Donna, Jessica, you were all told. Nobody finds this secret out. And she goes, you don't know my dad. They're going to find out.
Which is kind of true, but didn't Jessica find it out? I think Jessica did find it out.
No.
Who told her?
Or she did some kind of check on him?
Yeah, right?
She took him to dinner.
She took him to
She's
dinner.
like, oh, he's lying. She could just tell.
And then she was like,
And then she confronted Harvey about it, and he said he confirmed it.
Well, she looked up his undergraduate, and he didn't have an undergraduate.
That's true.
So Mike
this is a
thinks,
flaw in the writing.
Yeah, because Mike thinks Jessica was told, but Jessica was not. Jessica found him out. And I would say Rachel Zane's daddy could find him out.
Oh, for sure.
She leaves him out in the rain. She's got the umbrella. He's just getting dripping wet. Then they meet up again. They're talking to, what is his name? Graham Stenton. Graham Stenton's person who knows. Who is the person? It's like a coworker?
What's her name? Beth?
Her name is Beth.
Yeah, Beth.
So they're talking with this woman named Beth who works with Mr. Stenton, Graham, as she calls him. They're like, when did you become aware that Mr. Stenton was manipulating the numbers? And she's like, well, Graham, blah, 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 blah. And then Rachel's like, okay, I have another question. How long have you been sleeping with him? Because you just called him Graham.
Yeah, and then you also didn't react.
When we asked how long you've been sleeping with
Yeah,
him.
it's like you got caught, not like you were offended.
Yes. Good on them for figuring that out. And they tell her, if you really want to protect him, have him give us the money back while we can still take care of this quietly.
Because if you don't, we're going to be real loud.
Yes. And then they're celebrating. And they're like, we did so great. And Rachel's like, yeah, actually, you should come to dinner with my parents.
Yeah. Woo-wee! So they're at the house.
I'm so glad we get to meet her mom.
Yeah.
Who's basically just another Rachel.
Yep. They go to dinner at Rachel's parents' house. They're all bonding over the potatoes here. This whole bit about the potatoes. Lots of fun banter. It's clear that
so fast.
Mike and Robert have a lot in common. Rachel and her mother might also have a lot in common because it's Rachel and her mother, you know?
Yes, it's very cute. A cute family.
Yes. You even noted here that they talk so fast that they kind of finish each other's sentences.
And they also, is noted that they don't keep secrets, that they know everything about everything.
Yeah. So then Robert is outside with Mike and is asking him about himself. And I remember when I was watching this the first time, I thought he was going to ask him about Harvard.
Yes.
And like ask Harvard logistics.
I thought so too.
I was like, oh man, if you didn't know about Pinocchios, like even I know about Pinocchios.
You've been to Pinocchios.
I've been to Pinocchios twice.
I will say that Rachel's daddy, Robert Zane, calls Mike Michael.
Interesting.
And Mike corrects him and says Mike. And I was like, I get that.
Yeah. Well, he has also like, tell me about your family. It's like, you don't have any brothers and sisters. Just like parents, are they still, around? Are you still together?
They're still together.
He's like, no, they died when I was, 11. He's like, I'll get out of here. And then, which is like an awful thing. Like, why in the world would you say that? Like, nobody would make that up.
Such a knee jerk.
It is. And then Robert Zane's like, I just asked an orphan about his dead parents. He was like, I'm so sorry,
Yeah. Robert Zane in this is so much more likable than when he was attorney Robert Zane.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, inside, they're like, what are they talking about? Rachel's like trying to hear what they're talking about. And Rachel's mom's like, come on. Like, did he kill someone?
She didn't kill anybody. As long as he hasn't killed someone, it's all going to work out.
Yeah, but you could tell Rachel's like, he does have a secret, kind of. She could tell there's something that she's hiding. Then Robert Zane back outside goes, well, what's going to happen when Rachel gets into Stanford?
Mike is clearly dumbfounded because Rachel has not told him that she has applied to Stanford or might be going to Stanford.
Stanford's in California.
It is in California.
And they're in Toronto.
Well,
pretending that it's New York.
It is definitely a very long plane ride away.
Oof. This is no good. They have a big secret now. Mm-hmm. So Rachel and Mike are tired. They're drinking coffee. Mike is so pissed and they're on the street. But then guess who comes up is someone who's more mad than him. Graham Stinton. Mm-hmm. And he's like, look at this. I got married to Beth, and now she's not going to testify.
Because of spousal privilege.
Right. So, haha. Right. I literally got married to someone just so they can't testify. You're never getting your money. You can't prove I did a thing, and now you can't force her to prove I did it either.
Right. Mike is still mad.
He's acting like it's about Graham.
Yeah, but it's about the Stanford thing. And so then...
She's like, I was going to tell you about it. I was going to tell you about it before I went on Friday for my interview. Mm-hmm. Like, she's already gotten an interview.
Yeah. Which, like, that doesn't happen just like that. Like, so she's known for a hot second.
Yes, yeah. And she specifically kept it from him because he's like, you told me about all the other schools, but not Stanford because you really want to go there. And
I'm like, girl, don't wait that late to tell him.
Yeah, she's just nervous. She's nervous he's going to be mad. And now he is mad, but he's mad because she waited to tell him. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Absolutely. They decide they're going to play bad cop in this situation. And Rachel's like, yeah, the way I'm feeling right now, I could do that.
Yeah.
And so they go to try and play bad cop. They confront Beth. And they're like, hey, look, they're going to have to pursue jail time for her. And he's not going to be waiting for you when you get out. And she said, the fear of him getting caught is going to cast a shadow over every minute of your life together.
That's what Rachel says.
Camera pans to Mike when Rachel's saying this. It's like, is she saying this about him? Right? Mm-hmm. And then Beth turns around and says, I'll get you your money back. So obviously they didn't have a very good wedding or honeymoon because she's already turning on her husband.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's true though too. She knows that she's in love with him and she knows he only married her to keep her quiet. Mm-hmm. So she's like, maybe this was a bad idea.
Yeah. Sometimes people get married though for dumb things.
Sometimes they do. Mike and Rachel are then at her apartment and money's being wired to the account. Because Rachel went good cop, because she had talked to her about how the fear of him getting caught is going to cast a shadow, like all this like girl to girl. And they both say sorry at the same time, which I thought was super endearing. Mike asks if what Rachel says to Beth was really about him. And if she kind of wishes that Stanford would be a fresh start.
And she's like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I have thought about it. Like, it would be a fresh start. Mm-hmm. And she said she's got to try, and he's going to have to give her the freedom to come to this decision on her own.
And they feel like that's like, I honestly thought this was great.
Yeah.
I felt like this is a grown-up relationship.
Right.
And I love that they said sorry. I love that they're like, yes, you need to make this decision. They're seeing each other as full humans.
Is this Mike so grown up that he just goes by his initials? Like from Michael to Mike to MR in the situation for you?
Mister?
Yeah, just Mister.
Yeah, I start calling him, and then Mr. comes in. When I was little, I remember in the second grade being like, because my name Maggie Wreath, and then I was like, if I marry someone with the last name that starts with an S, for sure gonna take that.
Oh, yeah. It's too bad.
Because then I'd be Mrs. and Mrs. So this last storyline that we have to wrap up.
Meow.
Meow.
Little cat scratch fever.
It's MC Scat Cat.
Yeah, Lewis, and you titled it here, Lewis and the Feline Persuasion.
Katrina told Simon he has to talk to Lewis, and then Lewis immediately rips him apart for his writing that he has done. Yeah. He's like, we must, but we do not shall. Like he said, he's using these wrong words, la la la. And Simon's like, yeah, but that's from Nigel.
Yeah.
Nigel sent a memo.
Oh, Nigel.
And Lewis is like, a memo from Nigel is not going to stick its boot in your ass. A memo from me will. He's like, I cannot believe Nigel is managing the associates with memos.
Nigel's
thousands of miles away.
No. I mean, he's there a lot.
Yeah, but he's sending the memos.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just a formal.
So then we see Lewis at his favorite place, the mud house. Lewis, according to your notes, twacks in with his thong sandals, and Nigel is already there in the mud. And
I was thinking thwack.
Okay.
It
So I
needs
did
the
make it
H.
as a deposition of like, one, I was curious, what is twacks?
I didn't put, I mean, I'm typing this so quickly.
Right.
I think I should have had an H there. It should be thwacks.
Okay, and so what is thwacks?
It's this. Like this.
That's thwacks?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a thwack.
The thwack? She's hitting the back of her iPad.
He's
Or-
thwacking
not-
in
or
those
iPad,
thong sandals. Thong, 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 thong.
So my depo then, part B of this is...
Okay.
Do you have a word that you've made up that like is now your word?
My mom used to get the googies out of my eyes, like the little eye boogers. And in first grade, I was like, oh, this girl, I was like, oh, Izzy, you got some googies in your eye. And she was like, basically looked at me like, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, dang, I'm never going to do this to my kids. But guess what I call them?
Googies.
Googies.
Yeah.
Let me get that googie out your eye. Give me that googie.
Googie.
Do you?
I don't know if I have any words. I have a lot of things I've coined, you know?
So he's thwacking in with those thong sandals, and Nigel is already there in the mud. He has imported mud from another land.
Right, which is apparently against the mud rules.
Yeah,
mud house rules.
Yeah, mud house rules.
Yeah.
He's also just sending memos, and Lewis is like, memos from a distant land don't shape shit into shit.
Right. Dang, dude. I know. Just because they found out they could say shit this season. They went
just say
hard
it
in
all
the
the time.
paint.
Hard into the shit. And Nigel's like, actually, like, memos are fine. I went to boarding school, and you were homeschooled, and, like, I think I actually did pretty well for myself.
Yeah.
And Lewis is like, okay, but my mom had a great science fair.
So cute.
Which
Can you
I
imagine
love
Lewis
that.
just his little own science fair at home?
I bet it was actually really
It
good.
probably was.
Lewis makes an analogy that, like, all of these associates are grains of sand.
Right.
And he has molded them through glass blowing.
Yes.
He's turned them into glass.
Yes.
And he says, you are not going to control who I can and cannot blow into. The rest of that is into glass from sand. But he did not
Lewis
say
sometimes, or oftentimes, does not understand the impact of his words.
Right.
And how they often sound very sexual. And there's lots of innuendo.
Yes.
And he has no clue what he's saying.
that. No, he's heated.
Yeah.
He's so heated because he's blowing so many associates into sand. I mean,
Yes.
into glass.
Yeah. So then Nigel decides he is going to make a little gift for all the associates. And Lewis walks into the pit. All the associates are gathered around. There's this gift there. And it's like this glass trophy that says Lewis lit blew me.
And they're all laughing.
They think it's hilarious. Lewis confronts Nigel with it. He's like, what is this? He's like, oh, this turned out really well. And then Nigel has a cat that scurries across the desk.
Which stops Lewis in his tracks.
Oh my gosh.
He can no longer confront Nigel about this glass blowing prank.
Because he happens to have a way with those of the feline persuasion.
That's what he says. And this cat, which I didn't catch the cat's name. I didn't fully understand it. It's some like reference.
Mercado.
Mercado. So Mercado, which is a reference to some.
I think of Mercados. It's a Tex-Mex restaurant in Tyler. That's free ice cream when you leave.
Yeah, I don't think that's the reference.
Yeah, and it's not mercado, like a little
market.
Like a market.
It's like Marcado. Like Marco.
Yeah, Marcado. Should we look at it?
It's something from some smart thing. You know, it's a name from...
It's something from smart thing?
It's a smart play or
There's
like
they have named
mythology.
The cat after something smart.
Yeah,
and
right.
we don't know what it is.
No, we don't know.
But but
it could be Mercado, where you got free ice cream after you ate enchiladas. Mercado.
It was possessive. There was an apostrophe.
Okay, that's important to know. Mercado doesn't normally let anyone hold her. Lets Lewis hold her. And now Nigel needs help.
He needs help. He needs somebody to watch his cat.
Because he doesn't want the cat to end up in customs.
Oh, gosh.
And there's no suitable luxury cat hotel.
Right. He's going to watch the cat.
He's like, of course I'm going to watch this cat.
Yeah, he's going to watch the cat.
The next day in the break room, Lewis is so tired, and he's talking with Donna, and she's like, wait a second. You're tired because you were with a cat last night.
Mm-hmm. It's like, oh my God, I love every second of it.
Yes, he's like so happy. He's so happy to be so exhausted. Yeah. Because the cat like will only drink milk facing London. So particular.
All this stuff.
And Lewis loves it.
Lewis loves this.
Loves trying to figure out his cat.
He does. He did mention to Donna that her glow is kind of gone. And he goes, don't let work get in the way of that glow. And she goes, I'm going to schedule an extra long session of yoga tonight. So.
And he's like, I'll come.
And she's like, no, I'm going to come. Oh! Bazinga!
Bazinga. Oops, I did it again. I came with Steven. With my dental damn.
Gotta make sure I put explicit on this one when I'm doing it. Maggie? Choo choo. Choo choo. Choo choo.
Oh look, try all aboard. Alexit, we're here at Prediction Town.
Prediction Town.
Get off the train.
One ticket from Maggie Reef to get off the train at Prediction Town.
Hello. Prediction Town. I was addressing all the people of Prediction Town.
Oh, all your constituents.
Yeah. Okay, here's a prediction. Harvey has to consider that Stephen went behind his back, but he also has to consider that Jessica is his original mentor, and that she's not Cameron Dennis, because I think he's getting like mentors conflated here. Mm-hmm. I think he's not trusting Jessica because he's working against Cameron Dennis, but he needs to remember that he chose Jessica for a reason as his mentor. Mm-hmm. And I think he needs to follow Jessica on this. Okay. But if he does, is Darby going to call him out and like tell her that he was trying to come for her and ruin that relationship from that end? Wow. I think that his rash decisions have really gotten him into a predicament. Okay. But I think ultimately it will be Jessica and Harvey, not Harvey and Darby.
Okay.
I think Rachel's daddy's going to figure out Michael.
Okay.
Kyle thinks he will figure out Michael, but not tell Rachel because he loves his daughter. And I think that is wrong. I do not think that is a good prediction.
Is that because if Kyle was in this situation, he wouldn't tell MJ?
I don't know, but I would. I would be like, hey, your dad figured out that your boyfriend didn't actually go to law school, and you need to know that.
Yeah.
I would for sure tell her. But yeah, I guess
it's
Kyle...
It's good that Kyle's hearing this now, that you're going to tell if he finds out.
Yeah, I would. I'd be like, you can't tell me that. And I'm going to tell her. And he'd be like, no, don't. She loves him. She loves him.
But he's a fraud. Like...
Yeah, like you got it. You can't like enter into a union with someone without knowing that. No, and they wouldn't know that Rachel knew. I don't think Rachel's going to go to Stanford. I think Rachel and Mike are endgame.
Okay.
Like the way they apologized was so good. I think they're just like too good for each other.
Okay.
Lewis, I think, is going to get another cat and then become friends with Nigel. Mm-hmm. I think maybe Nigel will soften Lewis up so that he can trust people and maybe have more confidence.
Oh, interesting.
I think that they could be really good for each other.
Okay.
And Stephen and Donna, I think it's going to end poorly.
Okay. She's
going back to him for that glow, but I think that he's shown his cards as being someone who goes behind Harvey's back. Mm-hmm. Donna would never.
Right.
He kind of like threw it in Harvey's face too. Steven's being a little sneaky.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't think it's going to end well. Those are my predictions.
These are great predictions.
Thank you.
I know how these are going to play out, so it's fun for me to see these predictions.
Because you're like, dang.
No, I'm not. Again, remember, I didn't do any predicting. I just did a lot of clicking on through to the next episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can listen on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere else you get your podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave us a review.
And if you don't have anything nice to say, you can eat it.
Just like Whiskey ate a squirrel today.
He ate a squirrel today.
My little dog of 12 years old ate a squirrel today.
He ate a squirrel today.
Never have I ever had to shovel up a dead squirrel, put it in a trash bag, and just throw it in the trash can. My dad said, don't worry, don't have to do anything else. That's what you do.